Boomer Sooner.
Handoff up the middle, easy like Sunday morning, touchdown.
This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. Also brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Walden Cleaners. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner. Here are your hosts, Chris Plank and Gabe Eichert.
First week of the year, we are joined by the Sooner offensive line coach, Bill Bedenbaugh. This is it, Coach. This is funnest. Great.
Funnest
English.
is the word now.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you accept funnest?
Funnest and funner. You can say them both. It's true.
Huh.
Look it up.
Broadcast
I'm not smart
professional.
enough to know that.
Look it up.
Welcome in, Coach. Second time this year.
Yeah, thanks. Definitely appreciate being here.
Well, we love this week, and I usually just ask one question, then get out of the way and let them talk offensive line fun. So obviously, this is a bit of a different week for fans and everybody, but for me, now you've been experiencing this over a decade now in the OU Texas lineage. What is this week like for you? Any different? Do you have to treat it the same?
No, well, yeah, you treat the preparation. It's my, what is this, 13? No, it's 14th time playing them. One time was in the Big 12 championship, so 14th time here. I played them at West Virginia, played them at Texas Tech, so it's 20-something times.
Wow.
But, yeah, this game is different. Obviously, you have to prepare the right way and you know, just talking to my guys through the week, and a lot of them haven't experienced it. That's just kind of the world we live in college football right now, especially in my position, but you know, just telling them what it means and what this game is about. And you have to prepare the same way. You know, you don't want to prepare any different. You know, do you prepare better, hopefully? But, yeah, it's a different game, man. It's a different atmosphere. You drive into that game, the hatred on both sides, and that's real, and you got to feed into it. But once you step on the field, it's about doing your job.
Looking at your group right now, you got some guys that are battling through some things. That was clear to me as I watched the Kent State game unfold. Just what type of toughness are you seeing? A couple of these guys that are playing banged up for you, what type of toughness are you seeing from them?
Yeah, you know, that's the most important thing. Yes, do we have to play better? There's no doubt. And I don't think there's any coach in the country saying we're where we want to be. I think everybody, you know, no matter how good you are or how bad you are, you always have to continuously improve. But the thing that I appreciate is the toughness. You know, I'm not going to go into all the things that are going on and all that, but these are tough dudes. I don't question that for 1 second. And they're battling, they're fighting. Yes, we got to continue to get better, but you know, as you know, I coach you, man. Toughness is the most important thing to me, man, and putting it on the line for your teammates, and that's what these dudes do every week. And you know, I appreciate that more than anything.
Opening segment, as always, is brought to you by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference that family makes. And one of those guys I think has made a pretty incredible impact is Jake Michael. Now, we talked to him post-game the last two games, very focused guy. Like whenever you're interviewing Jake, he's staring right at you.
Classic nerd.
It's almost like he's looking right through you. But what's kind of impressed you as he's developed into the center of this team and really has taken hold of that leadership role?
Yeah, no doubt. No, just his work, you know, and getting better at the position. You know, before he got here, I think he played 5 games at center, you know, and he got here, you know, the end of June. So he wasn't here through spring ball. And it's a constant learning curve for him, and you know, getting everybody on the right page, and then everybody being confident that we're on the right page, and you know, it's getting better every week, and you just got to keep working. He's like any player, you know. It's a constant improvement every single day, especially at this position. I know every position's like that, but especially at the offensive line, you're never going to arrive. Every single play there is something, whether you won the rep or you lost the rep, there's something that you can do better to improve that rep. So, and he's like everybody else, but he has gotten better. He's getting more comfortable in the system, more comfortable in making the calls. So, you know, like everybody, just the constant improvement.
There's the physical part to playing center, of course, but what have you seen from Michael when it comes to the mental and then the vocal part of playing the position.
And like I said, I just think it's getting better every week, every day. As you played the position, and I played the position.
You did.
I was really
People
good.
don't know. People don't know this man. Hey, I've seen the highlights.
But it's just it gets. You got to get used to it. You're snapping the ball. Somebody's closer to you than everybody else on the offensive line. So there's the space that you have to dictate. There's the calls, and then there's everybody else on the line trusting the calls that you are making. And it's like I told those guys, whether he makes a right or wrong call, which most of it's right, nobody's perfect, but whatever call he makes, we have to execute that call, because if everybody's on the same page, we're fine. All right, but if you're thinking one thing and then he's calling another thing, then everything goes to crap. But it's just a evolution of it. As you do it more and more, you get more and more comfortable doing it. And he's working at it. We snap every day before practice, during practice, obviously after practice, and then just executing the different blocks that he has to do. So he's gotten better, and he's got to continue to improve.
I used to say it all the time. If we're all wrong,
we're all right. No doubt. Exactly right. And that happens. Like there's, nobody's ever coached or played a perfect game. As much as you strive to get to that point, it's just not going to happen. Now you push for that, and if you get close, then you're going to be pretty good. But that's exactly right. As long as everybody's on the same page, then we're going to be fine.
This will be by far the loudest environment that you will have taken this line. This group hasn't gone and played in a hostile environment together yet. And we all know, depending on what end you're on in this game, how it can be. So how are you feeling about the level of communication, how these guys are gelling together, like the comfortability that they're building with each other?
No, I feel good about that. It hasn't been a huge issue in practice. Obviously, we have the things that we do to get them acclimated to that. Now, there's nothing like actually being in that environment and having the pressure to do your job in that environment and all those things. But there's mechanisms that we use to get them used to it. But there's been some hiccups here and there early in the week, and it's gotten better throughout the week. And then we got another day today. You got tomorrow, then you go play Saturday. So throughout the week, it's gotten better. And now it's just like, I tell them, what you do in practice is going to show up in the game. We all know that, and we've got to take what we've done in practice, the good, and translate that to the game, and the bad we've got to get fixed.
How do you help your guys handle the uncertainty at the quarterback position for this game? We don't know if Mateer's going to play. Even if you knew, you wouldn't tell us, and that's fine.
Well, and I don't know.
But how do you make sure that's not a distraction for your guys?
You just don't really talk about it. Like we're going to basically run the same plays. You may have a few different here and there for whatever quarterback is going to play. But look, if we call 6-man protection, you're blocking 6-man protection.
No doubt.
If we call a 5-man protection, you're blocking 5-man protection. It doesn't matter who's back there. If you're calling inside zone, you're blocking that. If you're calling a counter, gap scheme, you're blocking that. So they got to focus on their job. Their job's going to be hard enough. You know what I mean? You can't worry about everybody else, and you got to trust that everybody's going to do their job, and that's what I tell them.
Yeah, and you mentioned the environment, Gabe. We've talked about it a lot. Communication is going to be a key for all these guys come Saturday. So regardless of who's at quarterback, regardless of who's out there on the line, they've got to find a way to communicate through the madness, right?
No secrets in the Cotton Bowl, boys.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't care if they know what you're going to do. You got to talk, and you got to talk loudly.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And there's going to be some getting used to it. We're going to have, numerous guys that haven't been in that environment. But again, you have the things in place through practice the best that you can, all right, to get them prepared for it. But as we all know, it's different. Yep. When you get in that environment, and you just got to trust your technique, your fundamentals, your assignment. Obviously, like you said, you got to communicate. It's no different than any game. Now, yes, is it going to be louder? Of course it is. But, you just got to trust, and you got to rely on your training.
Quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Texas defense as we get set for OU Texas with Bill Bedenbaugh inside the Coach's Corner. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford.
official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, it's always a good time.
I want to win.
Welcome back inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind, another segment with Sooner offensive line coach Bill Bedenbaugh. The second segment is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Texas has kind of stumbled a little bit out of the blocks, 3-2, but 2 understandable losses, losing to Ohio State, then going in the swamp last week. Coach, what have you seen from what has been a pretty ballyhooed Pete Kwiatkowski defense?
Yeah, no, typical Texas defense the past couple of years. You know, they're really stout inside. They got 2 really good, really 4 edge guys that are good. Their 2 linebackers as good as we played, probably comparable to Michigan guys. You know, the secondary, I think for them is a little bit banged up. I think they're all supposed to play, but, you know, typical defense, stout inside. They're good against the run. You know, you got to do some good things in scheming them and getting them out of gaps. I think Florida did a really good job of that, scheming the run game and getting them to misfit things, and did a good job up front, did a good job with their running backs, you know, running through stuff. And when it looked like it was going to be 0 yards, you got 4 yards, you know. So that's what we got to do, and we got to stick to it and understand that, yeah, it's going to be hard to break big runs, but you just keep going and going and going and pounding them, and 2, 3, 4 hopefully turn into 20-yard runs.
They consistently, over the last couple seasons, they do what they do.
Yes.
They're not going to bring a ton of pressure. They're going to line up. They've been a 4-2-5 nickel defense that lines up and says, hey, our guys are better than the guys across from them. Now, it was a little different against Florida. Florida kind of dragged them into a style of game that I'm not sure we can make them play with all the 12 personnel Florida ran. But what's the message to your guys when you kind of know what it's going to look like? It's not like they're going to come out there and try to trick you with what they're doing defensively.
No, that's exactly it. And it's exactly what I said. You know, we go against a defense that is moving every single play. Now, this week, when a 3 is a 3, he's going to be a 3.
Yep.
3 technique. When a G, a 2I, a 1, whatever you want to call him, is a 1. That's what he's going to be 90% of the time. You know, now, what happened with Florida is they started gashing him on some things, and, you know, it's not like they brought a ton of pressure. They would bring a field blitz, you know, and so, yeah, that's what we got to get to, is where we're making them pressure some, you know, and that's where they don't want to live. Not that they won't do it, but they, like you said, they are saying their guys are better than us, and we're going to whip you. Now, we got to take that as a challenge and, you know, understand when that guy's there, that's where he's going to be, man. It's double teams or it's one-on-one, and you got to win your individual matchup.
Coach Venable said on Monday night, and I think you were still there, Gabe, when he said, you know, sometimes it's just about whipping the guy in front of you.
That's football, man.
Yeah.
And we could talk about schemes, and obviously that's what this show is here to learn and get smarter as fans. But the bottom line is just got to go out and whip the guy in front of you, right?
No doubt. That's what, and especially this week. There's some weeks, again, if you play our defense, it's chaos. It's things going all over the place, you know. So now in that game, it's identifying what's happening, stopping things and cutting things off, and, you know, all that. This game that's what it is. It's basically going to be winning your one-on-one matchups.
Your group has been a really good pass protection group. Now, had some issues we hadn't seen you guys have against Kent State.
Yep.
How are you feeling about getting those issues fixed, knowing that Texas is a team that's going to show you those similar looks that you guys struggled with against Kent State?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's obviously you know what coaching is. What they see on tape, you struggling with, you know, whether it's us seeing the team struggle with a run or a pass concept, you're going to see it. So obviously, yeah, the things that we struggle with against Kent State, you know, we've been, you know, working on. You know, that's part of coaching, and I feel good about it. There was some, you know, things that, you know, you have to give Kent State credit. There was one pressure that they had never done that I've never even seen that was really, really good, you know, and they got us on that. The other things we had seen, and we've got to do what it takes to block those things.
Anything else on Texas you want to add, Gabe? Because I was going to ask about
So many things, but you take us wherever you want us to go.
I wanted to, in our final few minutes here, I did want to talk about some of your dudes, and obviously we'd be remiss. We talked Jake Michla in the opening, but seeing Michael Fasusi develop into what it looks like he's going to develop into, how have you kind of seen him start, and sky's the limit appears for this guy, but what's kind of his trajectory right now?
You know, I think he's got all the potential in the world. I've said this before, him and Ryan. You know, Ryan's a little bit further behind, and that's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? But, you know, Mike's different. You know, I've been very, very fortunate to coach a lot of really good players, and I've never seen anything like that. For what he did, I'd never seen anything from a young kid, and not that I studied everybody, but what he did against Michigan.
Oh,
you know,
my gosh.
You know, people don't realize he missed 2 weeks of practice. What people don't understand, and I'm not giving anybody excuses going into that. He missed 2 weeks of practice. He's missed 2 weeks of practice in the season. And, you know, he's still playing good. Does he got to get healthy? You know, obviously we saw the ankle and all that. He's got to continue to get healthy, but he's a tough kid. He's fighting through it, you know. And again, from that game, I'm like, this dude is legit. Watch it against good edge rushers. Watch it. You know, did he get beat? He got beat 2 times. You know, one time he slipped. He was probably going to get beat anyway because he was leaning. You know,
what are you doing?
But he's got, you know, got to get his head out of it. But anyway, that's a different thing. But and then one time he gave up the edge. But other than that, he was really good in the first. And he makes me feel good. Like, you know, there's times when I'm nervous playing a good defense, and I don't want to say nervous, anxious, you know, and hell, he ran on the field and I felt good. And he proved me right, you know what I mean? And the kid's going to be really, really, really good.
After watching that, this is a true story. I'm watching the game, I'm reviewing the film, and my wife is like, "Why are you smiling so much?" And I was like, you got to watch 56. He's so good. And I said it's the most impressive performance I've seen from a true freshman offensive lineman that I've ever watched.
Yeah, but me too.
And and he was going against 3 guys that are going to be drafted for Michigan.
No, me too.
And
again,
I just hope he can get back to where he was physically after the ankle injury.
I think he will. He's a tough kid that's going to fight through it, you know, but he didn't play against Illinois State. That was the first game that he had ever played, and it's like he's got no fear in the world. He just went out there and played. You know, he's going to do the same thing Saturday. We'll see the results, but he won't have any fear. And I've coached guys that have fear. You know, that's reality. I don't know if fear is the right word, but you know, I don't want to screw up.
Maybe doubt.
Yeah, doubt. Maybe not as confident. You know, but this guy goes out there and expects to win, whether he does or doesn't. And I haven't seen that mentality in a young kid ever. Ever.
Makes sense. He's awesome. Derek Simmons, probably not his best day last week, but how have you seen the Unk? I think they call him the old man over there, progress.
Yeah, he is an old dude. But no, he up until that point, he was really good. You know, and he got better. You see Michigan, you see Temple, and people don't. That kid from Temple is one of the best pass rushers I've gone
25?
against. Yeah,
no doubt.
He's a legit dude, and I know everybody says he's at Temple, and but he's a really good pass rusher, and he was really good against Auburn. Took some lumps. There's reasons that I'm not going to get into, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
He's got a massive challenge coming up on Saturday with Colin Simmons, who is, he's got one of the best get-offs in college football.
He's going to have a massive challenge in the next 8 weeks. Is that or 7 weeks? Is that how many games?
That's the truth right there.
Hey, before I let you get out of here, let's talk about your interior. Fabechi Wiwu, Heath Ozida. Seems like they've, when healthy, back, I don't ever want to say 100%, but seems like with Michla and Wiwu and Ozida, it seems like they're developing some chemistry in there?
No doubt. No, I think so, and they're getting better. And, I think Fabechi, has been the most consistent guy, throughout the whole room. So, they're getting better and they're improving, and, just got to keep on that trajectory of getting better.
I've got a very important question for you. Very important, maybe the most important OU Texas question. Corn dog or funnel cake?
You know what? I think you asked me
You're
this last.
skinny now, so I don't know if
Well, even when I'm not that skinny, but I've gained. The season you gain a little bit of weight back. But you know what? I haven't done either. I really don't. Yeah. I don't know why. I just don't. You just after the game, I chill. Actually, I start watching the tape. I go.
Of course you do. You're a sicko.
Yeah, I know. I go right to the bus, or sometimes I would ride home with my wife and family, and I got my iPad, and I just start watching the game. Yeah, I'm crazy like that, but that's just where I am.
If I bring you one or the other, or maybe both, will you try it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I had to choose, it'd be corn dog.
I think that's a good choice.
It's a way to go.
Savory over sweet guy. How about that?
Coach, best of luck this week, and always appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
It's Bill Bedenbaugh. Stick around. We'll talk Sooner defense next as we get ready for OU Texas inside the Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's always a good time. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
All right, welcome back inside the Coach's Corner. Is always presented by Riverwind Casino. Horns down on this OU Texas week. Welcome in Sooner Inside Backers Coach, Sooner Guru Nate Dreiling. What's going on, Coach? Welcome back. Quick turnaround.
Thanks for having me. First time I've been called Guru since I've been here. So
I love it, man. Well, I love watching you coach over on the sidelines, and I think we joked about it a couple weeks ago, but it's such a different world because as a sideline reporter, you would see coaches and players kind of yell and go back. What'd you see? Now with the iPads, it's almost just, study time over there.
I've never seen it. You're the only coach I've ever seen in college football that goes over there and sits on the ground.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone else do it, and I love it. It's like story time with the guys. He's sitting on the ground, kind of lean back so everyone can see.
Just like reading a book to your kids at night. If one of the kids can't see, someone's going to cry.
That's true.
That's
But
how I get ahead of it.
It's changed everything. I mean, not to get off on OU Texas Week talking about a technology that's now in its second year, but it's really changed everything for you as coaches, hasn't it?
It's taken a lot away. Typically it was so much you had to watch during the play to get live data because you're never going to see that again, right? And that's how you make your adjustments. Now it's don't really worry about adjustments because we're going to make that as soon as the guys get to the sideline. So less schematics in between or during the drive, and a lot more fixing after it.
I know we're here to talk about the matchup against the Longhorns, but let's look back at the Kent State game really quick. How'd you feel about the defensive performance? You finally get the shutout.
Yeah, finally. Those are hard to come by. I told my guys midway through the second quarter, I was like, guys, if you want to get a tackle this game, you're going to have to play the fastest you've ever played in your life because the D-line up front was eating, as they say. So not a lot of stats-wise to come by, but a proud performance by the defense. We've got to carry that over for this week.
When you have a defensive line it opens things up for everything. But, it's a Captain Obvious question, but maybe not easier. How much smoother does that make things for you guys as a defense as a whole?
Yeah, I think Gabe will attest that when the D-line's acquiring all the attention, all the blocks, right, then you get to run free. The only deal with our D-line is they acquire the attention and they get off and make the play, which is very impressive. But no, it's easy to be a linebacker in this scheme with the guys Coach Bates and Coach Chavis has up front. So got to get them lined up, get them set, and get them geared up.
How excited are you for your first OU Texas experience? Like, I'm sure guys have been telling you, hey, this is going to happen, be ready for this, but just it's got to be a lot of fun preparing to do to coach in your first one.
It is, right? It's be like a dream type come true. One of the biggest rivalries in all of sports, not just college football. So a lot of anxiousness. You can tell just the level of intensity with the players this week. Everyone is on a little different scale, and seeing my first time and watching it live unfold, man, is going to be awesome. My wife's fired up. She's got her horns down, cowboy hat and boots. So I think she might even be more excited.
Have you ever been to an OU Texas game before?
No, first
Has
time.
she?
No, this time. So it'll be on.
It's gonna be hot.
A scene.
It's a sauna, is one thing.
Just so you know, it's in the middle of a state fair, by the way. It's kind of weird.
That is what I've heard.
Well, with that in mind, I mean, let's just go ahead and get there because I know, Gabe, you've been excited to talk about.
No one wants to talk about Kent State.
Yeah, I saw the Texas offense versus the Oklahoma defense, but obviously, Coach, it's got a ballyhooed quarterback, it's got a ballyhooed offensive coordinator. What have you seen from Texas's offense and the challenge they represent on Saturday?
Yeah, they've had their moments. Everyone kind of deems them as maybe struggling right now. They've played some good teams. And then they've had moments in each, right? Obviously, Ohio State's defense is one of the best in the country, and then Florida's defense probably not too far off. So the biggest thing is if we can just conquer the run game early and make them be one-dimensional. That'll obviously be huge in any game, but especially in this one with a team who's maybe struggling throwing the ball, right? So it's going to come down to the front seven early on, man. If we're giving up runs early, that's not going to be good for the Sooners. But if we can handle that and make it a one-dimensional pass game, I think that's going to be working in our favor.
What have you seen from that running game for Texas? This is a system for Steve Sarkisian that he's done such a good job in years past of building off the running game. Play action pass, multiple play action passes, multiple screens, but it's all built off that running game going and being efficient. What have you seen from them? Why do you think it's struggled the way it struggled for the Longhorns?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think their eye candy that they do is phenomenal. Just like you mentioned, their play action, it's I told Coach Venables, it's the most vertical shot passing attack I've seen in all of my career. They don't throw the ball to get first downs, they throw the ball to get touchdowns, right?
Right.
Just like baseball home run hitters, right? They typically strike out more than others, but when they hit the ball, right, it's gone. So we have to make sure we eliminate the explosive plays. And run game, one thing that Sark does is he's patient, man. Even if they're not running it well, he's going to keep running it, right? He's not going to try to just turn this into a pass-happy game. And as you said, the screens complement everything so well off of it. So it kind of keeps you on your heels, man. You got to show up every single down, and he does a good job of staying 50-50 and not tipping his hand on run pass.
Some people would like for others to believe that Arch Manning is the worst quarterback on planet Earth. That's not what I've seen. I don't think the offensive line for Texas has helped him out very much. They can't get the run game going. But what have you seen from Arch Manning? Like, what stands out to you about him as you studied him for this game?
I don't think he's much different than Bryce Underwood. When Bryce had time when we played them, man, he has an unbelievable arm and he looks phenomenal and he ran the ball well. Same thing with Arch. When Arch has time, he's on point for the most of it, right? But you see a lot of these highlights, you're gonna see there's always people in his face, people in his lap. So it's not necessarily having to get sacks, but if we can get him off his spot, I think that changes everything for this guy. But you have to keep in mind, Arch is not like the other Mannings. This dude can take off, and he's a big guy. He breaks a lot of tackles, and he can run. So it's not just covering and eliminating the deep ball. You got to be able to wrap him up and finish for minimal game when he does take off running.
You mentioned his ability to run. In their big games, when they've played good competition, his legs have been the best thing they've had offensively, especially in the run game. How does that affect the way that your guys in the inside backer world, like how does that affect the way that you guys have to go about things, knowing that he is a guy that can take off and hurt you with his legs?
Yeah, I think it's no different than our offense, right? If it's a big game, John Mateer or whoever's our quarterback is going to be running the football more than not, right? It's going to be the same thing for this. If you're going to play post defense versus these teams who do take shots, right? Well, then that opens up the QB run game +1 in your number. So now you got one more guy blocking than you can defend on defense. So we're going to have to make sure that we can get off blocks, make sure the defense handles there. And then you got to get this guy down. I said a little bit ago, but his legs are strong, man. He's hard to bring down. Coach Venables compared him to Jackson Arnold, right? A guy that you hit that just doesn't go down and is faster than he appears. So it's going to be a struggle. Eliminate the shots and get this dude on the ground.
You were talking about the eye candy, and we were bringing that up with Brent Venables on Monday night. For your guys, what's kind of the key to not getting your eyes confused against a team like this?
Yeah, the one is communication, right? It's pre-snap identification, alerting different type of crossover routes that we could get. But then once you got to get your depth. I preached all week for my linebackers, right? If we just sit and pop on the line of scrimmage, these balls are going to get thrown over our head. It's so much about getting your work done early, right? You have to get violent crossover run, a burst pedal for depth to 12 to 15 yards. That way you can have big vision. If I'm only at 7 yards, I can only see so much, right? Same for the safety. So it's a huge emphasis this week on getting our work done early in our pass drops, which goes back to what Gabe talked about earlier, right? Handling the run so play action doesn't tie us up as much.
And then one more thought on that. Coach did add, there's also a part of just whooping the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
So
that is football. That's basically what this game will come down to, but we'll talk about other stuff until then.
All right. Well, listen, we want to talk about your guys. So let's get a break. It's OU Texas Week. That's Nate Dreiling with Gabe Ikard. I'm Chris Plank. This segment is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. When we come back, we'll talk about Kobe, Kip, Owen, Kendall, all those backers right here inside the Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Coach Nate Dreiling is with us. That's Gabe Ikard. I'm Chris Plank. This segment inside the Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. All right, we talked a lot about the Texas matchup in the first game and looking back at Kent State. Coach, let's talk about some of your guys inside that room. And I always like to start with talking about Kobe McKenzie, whom, I think everyone wants to have big numbers, but like you said, the defensive line is all over the place. He's been the leader. He's been the organizer, if you will. What have you seen from his growth this season?
Yeah, a couple things. One, vocally, right? And that's not just leadership, but getting everything set up. Coach Venable's defense is very complex. There's a lot of moving parts. And if one thing's out of whack, right, everything goes south. So he does a good job of getting everyone on the same page, whether it's the front end or the back end, and that takes a lot. That's why he's essentially the general. He's improved so much since spring ball. Since I first got here, but his movements have been good. He's making tackles in space. He's blocked destruction. He's been able to pass rush. He maybe not fill up the stat sheet because a lot of our guys are playing 50-50, right? And the other half of the time, the D-line just makes the tackles. But he's doing an unbelievable job in what we need him to do right now.
How have you seen him develop in his pass drops? Like that, you see Kobe and you see the way that he plays in the run game. Like the guy's a thumper. I know that was a point of emphasis for him in the offseason. How have you seen that piece of his game develop?
Yeah, well, pass drops is a couple things. One, it's how fast you can read run pass, right? Because if I can't read run pass and I'm just bouncing at my 5-yard mark, well, it's a game of seconds in your pass drops. He deciphers the run pass very quickly, and he has a lot of details in his drop angles, right? It's not just, I got to drop to 12 yards. It's, hey, I got to drop to 12 yards inside number 2. If he's working in, then I got to seam him off. There's a lot of things that go in that. Kobe puts a lot of time studying the tape and a lot of time studying our own technique playbook. So he masters all of that. And one thing you see him get out and you see him gain ground very quickly. I'm so proud of how fast he's keying run pass and then how fast he gets out to his landmarks once he's there. So I told him, right, if we do drops like we have been this week in practice, we'll have at least 2 chances for interception at the inside guys. So that's the type of depth we need, but I think we can get there.
By the way, it's a big week for him because it's OU Texas, but it's also his fiance's birthday. So that's kind of a challenge whenever.
Of course.
Right, exactly.
It is a big deal.
It's his birthday.
It's a big deal.
Happy birthday, Kinsey Hansen, coming up this weekend. So we talk about, obviously, Kobe, the guy next to him, Kip Lewis, energy personified.
The Energizer Bunny.
That's what he does.
He's something else.
Yeah, he during the Temple game, he only played like 16 snaps. But the report the next day on our sports science with his GPS said that he overdid and we need to back him off this week in practice. And Venables is like, how is that even possible? And that's because his pregame and his celebration. So no one has more energy and more enthusiasm on game day. But he, as you guys know, he plays so hard. He's in on so many plays. I couldn't be more proud of him, man. He's just he's a different animal on game day. He's going to continue to have a big year.
Have you ever just been like, hey, man, just chill out
Yeah.
a little bit in pregame. It's crazy to watch. I tell him when I'm down there, I'm like, would you just stop moving for a second?
Why do you think I sit on the floor during my film sessions? Got to make him sit in this chair because he doesn't want to sit down.
Sit down.
Yes, you're gonna sit
sit
out
right
of the
here.
sun. I'm gonna sit on the floor. That's when I get to calm him down. Pre-game, I don't talk to him. He's in his zone, which I'm fine with.
You when you played every snap. Gabe, you when you played
He's
every
a crazy
snap.
man. Don't let him say anything
No,
otherwise.
I know. I went back
He's a
last.
wild man.
You told me to go watch a film. I did.
He's a
You were
wild man.
awesome. But with that in mind, you bring up the sports science side of things. How wild is that to see the I guess you could say innovations and to help you when it comes to coaching points on when guys need rest, when can they be their freshest? It's really changed the game in a lot of ways for you, hasn't
I
it?
think the biggest thing is injury prevention, right?
Oh, okay.
During game days, you're going to play your guys who you trust,
Yeah.
right? But
Right.
on the following Tuesday, right, what do these guys' hamstring strain look like? What's their quads look like, right? And all of that allows you to maybe pull back a little bit when before you just said, all right, let's go back and have a hard practice, right? So it's able to.
It's Tuesday, boys. Inside team, here we go.
You're able to prevent stuff from ever even surfacing, which is one of the big factors.
It has been an absolute pleasure to watch Owen Heineke develop into the player
really
that he has become. It was a bummer when he suffered the hand injury, but now I kind of miss the club in a weird way. He's down to I think he called it the Mickey Mouse cast when I asked him about it. But this guy is he's one of the best stories on this team. He's honestly one of the better stories in college football, Coach.
Yeah, I think he will play football for a long time, man. He's our best special teams player, and I don't even think it's close. And then how fast he deciphers the run pass, man. He plays with so much violence and speed. This guy was playing lacrosse 3 years ago, and now he's turning himself into maybe one of the best college football linebackers right now. So I wish I could get him more snaps, but it's hard to get everyone snaps. But when he's in, man, he does a great job and exactly what the team needs him to be.
Still one of the craziest injury stories we follow, right? We're like, oh my gosh, it looks like he cut his hand and he runs back, and you find out, oh my gosh.
Well, the hand was bleeding because his bone was sticking out of his skin.
And then he goes back, just crazy person, tapes it up, and is back out on the field. I mean, we talk about toughness. I don't think anyone would say play with a broken bone, but that's the kind of toughness that you want to see from a guy, right? To push through.
Breaks his thumb and gets a sack on the same play, so that's hard to do, and is out about 15 plays until he gets back. So the type of kid he is, man. He's exactly what this locker room needs, and he's kind of a spitting image of OU football right now.
Yeah, and he's got a great personality. So selfishly, I root for those guys to do great because they're great post-game interviews. But what have you seen that has allowed him to develop like this in the short amount of time that you've had with him? What's kind of been the key to have him get to this next level?
The biggest thing is just getting his chance. He was, if you ask Schmitty would say that he's our hardest working guy all offseason. It's been like that since he's been here. And he's just been waiting for his opportunity, right, wrong, or indifferent. Now, once it finally came, right, all the hard work is finally showing up on the light. So I couldn't be more proud of him. I'm sure people have followed him longer than me, right? It's got to be a surreal feeling seeing this guy, walk-on kid from Tulsa, now dominating and running the position with so much authority.
So we'll see Kip and Kobe together out there traditionally, and then when you see Owen Heineke, usually see 7 out there with him, and that's Sammy O. Again, another guy, just kind of the same question. His progression, new position this year, is that right, Gabe?
Correct.
Yeah. So how
Cheetah bumped inside.
That's right. So how have you seen like that tracking the development on that side for him?
Yeah, so Sammy is always one of our highest grading production guys every single week. I feel like you put him out there and all he does is make plays. He's leading the team in pass breakups. He has a sack and a half on the season, a bunch of tackles. He's just so athletic. He can arguably probably a top 5 athlete on the team when it comes to numbers and jumping and broad jump and all this stuff. You look at his length and his explosion. He's just a guy that gets out there, man, and just finds the ball, man, is able to get people down. So he's going to continue to progress, and he's a guy as well that needs more reps too. But like I said, it's hard. Everyone needs more reps, right? And I tell you what, the D-line ain't coming off the field to get another linebacker on. But when they do are out there, man, they have so much fun, and none of the guys complain about having somebody else take their spot, right? They all want their team to do better. They all want the position to do better, and that's one of the funnest things about this group.
How do you feel about the single digit?
The single-digit numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was faster, I would have played one as well. But they said, no, you're a 5-flat 40. You will take what you get.
The 7 looks so good on him.
Oh, yeah.
you got to have a certain body type, a certain level of athleticism to rock the single digits, especially 7
Yeah.
They
at
don't-
linebacker, and he's making it work.
Yeah,
Coach.
Witt doesn't give out bad numbers or good numbers to bad players, right? So
That's a
if
great
you're
way of
single
putting it.
digit on a team, you just assume that dude is a freak.
Do you want to ask in a final minute the most important question?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's going to be your first time
Yeah.
at OU, Texas. Like we mentioned earlier, it's in the middle of a state fair. So the most important question, corn dog or funnel cake?
Yeah, that's actually big. So I'm from Hutchinson, Kansas, which is the home of the Kansas State Fair, right?
Yeah.
And we have the Pronto Pup there, which is a fried corn dog. So I don't know if Texas can reach that level of excellence.
Oh!
But, I will look to settle even for a corn dog, though.
I believe,
The Pronto Pup.
Yeah.
I mean, a challenge has been
Challenge,
issued.
yeah.
Challenge.
We'll see what they have.
What are you going to do, Fletchers? What are you going to do?
The Pronto Pup. Coach, congrats on the great start to the season. Can't wait for you to enjoy this atmosphere, but more than anything else, can't wait to see your guys on the field Saturday. Best of luck.
Yep, thanks. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, he's the best. Nate Dryland, we get a timeout. Gabe and I'll get you ready for OU Texas with some final thoughts inside the Coach's Corner next.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Coach's Corner is brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
All right, welcome back into our final segment. Again, this show has just been incredible. I hope Sooner fans, you've enjoyed it. We've had great coaches. Nate Dryling's second go-around was amazing. And, of course, who's better than hearing Bill Bedenbaugh talk offensive line with Gabe Ikard. This final segment is brought to you by Warren Cat, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics. Let's go. It's OU Texas.
What do you think, Plankster?
Well, let's look at the preview brought to you by One Oklahoma. One Oklahoma powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused. The Sooners are headed to the Cotton Bowl for the Red River Showdown, Red River Shootout, Red River Rivalry, whatever you want to. Just now, recently it's become Red River. This is the 121st meeting, 97th straight game in Dallas. Every game since 1937 has been played inside the Cotton Bowl. There are some numbers for you. 33 points per game for the Sooners, 29 for the Longhorns. What jumps out to you, Gabe Ikard?
Is John Mateer going to play or not? I don't know.
I don't either.
It doesn't sound like these guys know. We'll
Dan
see.
Kavanaugh, our producer, is John Mateer playing? It's just nobody knows right now.
No one
Yeah,
knows.
he doesn't know. Yeah.
And clearly that will have a large impact on the game. But the thing that brings me comfort, whether Mateer plays or not, I think Hawkins will be better than what we saw from him against Kent State. I expect him to be better. But there's just no doubt, like, we are going to have to lean on our defense in this game. Because we're banged up along the offensive line. We've got the quarterback situation that's uncertain. And they're good on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, don't let anyone tell you that they're not. They are good on defense. It feels like it's going to be a really low-scoring game that comes down to a handful of plays. Could those be special teams plays? Very possible. We're feeling good about our special teams right now with Sandell and Miller and what those guys have been doing. But the defense is the strength of the team for us. They have to show up in a big way. Texas has not been able to run it efficiently. They can't start running it efficiently now. So this defense, I think they've got a ton of confidence coming into this game. I would love to see them make Arch Manning's life completely miserable in this game. And I think they can do that, but it all starts with stopping the run and making them one-dimensional, like Dryling mentioned.
Yeah, got to make them one-dimensional, and fast start wouldn't stink in this one either.
No doubt. And do not turn it over offensively.
No turnovers. It's going to be fun.
Make Texas drive the field. I don't think they can string drives together against our defense.
Let's go enjoy it. For Gabe Ikard, for our producer Dan Kavanaugh, I'm Chris Plank. Throw those horns down. We'll see you Saturday. And until next week, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
This has been the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.